back, everybody. This is the thejonnymar, and I am continuing with Pokemon Blue, my complete Pokedex journey. So my last episode, we got here to Fuchsia City, and we took on Koga, our 5th gym leader. In this episode, we're going to explore the rest of the town, and then we're going to also check out the Safari Zone, which is where I picked up this awesome Kangaskhan, which is the most difficult Pokemon in the game for me to catch, simply because the only way you can get it is in the Safari Zone. Now, there are other Pokemon that are only available through the Safari Zone as well, but you can of course use the Mew glitch to catch other Pokemon, and it is very difficult to catch Kangaskhan using the Mew glitch because of the very low special attack stat that is necessary to get Kangaskhan to come up using the Mew glitch. But you'll notice I caught a couple other Pokemon as well in the Safari Zone in between episodes. And in this particular episode, before we head into the Safari Zone, I'm actually going to evolve 2 of those Pokemon to continue to fill out my Pokedex. But we're also going to check out the Safari Zone on video, and I'm going to talk a little bit about what the structure of the zone is and how you can catch a lot of different Pokemon in there. But now we have a Nidoqueen. There are a lot of Nidoran in the Safari Zone, so if you want to catch Nidoran, and you actually want a ton of them, you can get a lot of them. And we can also get an Execute that will evolve into Executor. And no, it's not that silly version of Executor that came later with the massive neck. There's actually a Detective Pikachu event going on right now in Pokemon Go, and you can actually catch quite a few of those particular later versions of Executor. But these are a few more Pokemon to add to my Pokedex. So I'll meet you back here in a little bit after I drop them off, get my regular party back, as we have 66 out of 150 in the game. Alright, so we are going to head around town here in Fuchsia, and we're going to check out the rest of the buildings. At the end of my last episode, we actually talked to the Warden. Behold, it's Passion Pink. Not that we can see it. At least not in this version of the game. But we tried to talk to the Warden, and we couldn't understand him because he's missing his teeth. And so we are going to have to find those for him. And unfortunately, they actually got rid of the Safari Zone in the later versions of this game. So for example, in the 2nd generation, when you come back to this area and Fuchsia, the Safari Zone just doesn't have a door and you can't access it. And then in the Let's Go games, it has become the Pokemon Go Park, where you can actually transfer Pokemon directly from Pokemon Go to those games. But here we find out that they actually named the Warden Slowpoke. I don't think he has a speech problem. He's just missing his teeth. We're gonna have to find those for him, because we actually need to find the teeth in order to get the HM number 4 for strength. This guy notes that his girlfriend is not around, so maybe we'll find her eventually. And you'll notice that in addition to the Safari Zone, we actually have a little bit of a zoo here with different types of rarer Pokemon, such as Chansey here. And we already caught a Chansey. If you aren't using the Mew glitch, then the Safari Zone is the place you're going to want to go if you want to catch a Chansey, because that is where they are located. And they are actually very difficult to catch. As the sign noted, it is pretty much up to chance. Now that's the same for Kangaskhan as well. It is very difficult to catch Kangaskhan. It took me, I don't know, maybe 45 minutes to an hour to actually catch Kangaskhan. It's a very rare encounter, as we see a Lapras here. We'll be getting one of those a little bit later. And then it's pretty tough to catch Kangaskhan as well, even if you do manage to encounter it. But I'll go over all of that once we get into the Safari Zone. First off, let's head into the Mart here, because here in Fuchsia is the first opportunity in the game to not get X Speed, but rather to get Ultra Balls. So the strongest balls in the game, other than of course the Ultimate Master Ball, is the Ultra Ball, which has the best odds of catching Pokemon in the wild. So now we can pick them up if we want. They're pretty expensive, but I'll probably be picking up quite a few of them so that we can catch, for example, the legendary birds. Because they can be tough to catch. Usually takes, I don't know, 20 or so of them to catch a legendary bird. Unless you spam the save function right before them and use that to catch them. We have a Kabuto. And then here we have the Kangaskhan itself, which is an interesting Pokemon. It is normal type, doesn't really learn any great moves, but it has okay stats. And it is a popular Pokemon for Giovanni. But here is the Safari game. It's a Pokemon you catch 'em. Unlike the other Pokemon, which, of course, we allow other people to catch for us. But the Safari Zone is split into 4 different zones. A main zone and then areas 1, 2, and 3. And each of the zones has different Pokemon that you can encounter. And the only way you can catch them is to use a special, pretty weak ball called a Safari Ball. And so they give you the hint to make sure you have a open box in your PC if your party is not open, so that any extra Pokemon go into the box. And it costs 500 gold in order to go into the Safari Zone. And you get 500 steps to walk around inside the zone. Now there's also a lot of different items that are actually inside the zone as well, and then there are kind of some red herrings, so to speak. Some areas you can go to that don't really lead to anything, they're dead ends. Now I'm going to use the bike, and I'm also going to save, because what you can really do is just save at the beginning of paying for the Safari Zone, and then if you don't catch what you want, instead of going back in and paying again, you can just reset your save. But if you press the start button, that'll show you how many steps you have left, which is the time, so to speak. So we're going to be skipping these rest houses, and then I'm going to be putting up on the screen all the different Pokemon you can catch in the different areas of the Safari Zone. So when you get into an encounter, you have a couple different options here. You can just chuck balls at the Pokemon. You can throw a rock at the Pokemon, which will make it a little easier to catch, but will make it more likely for them to run away. You can throw bait, which will make it more likely that they'll stick around, but it makes it harder for them to catch. And then you can just run away from the Pokemon as well. So to catch the more rare Pokemon like Kangaskhan or Chansey, you are going to have to chance throwing rocks at them. Now you can just chuck balls, but it is a very, very low chance you're actually going to catch them. So what I did to catch that Kangaskhan, I encountered it, which I think it's only about a 4% chance to encounter it in this particular area, Area 1. So I would get to 1 or 2 of them showing up every time I would go through the 500 steps. And then I would throw 1 rock at them, hope they would stick around a turn, and then chuck a ball at them. And I finally was able to catch one after, I don't know, 15 or so encounters with them. So the other really rare Pokemon in here as well, such as Chansey or Tauros, you're going to have to do a similar sort of strategy. You can, of course, just throw Pokeballs at them and hope that you're going to catch them, but the odds of that happening are pretty low. And then the real goal of being in here, in our case, is to catch all the Pokemon, but also to get to the secret house in the middle, which isn't really in the middle, but we're going to come back for all these items. I'll show how to get all of them. There's a secret house all the way at the end of the Safari Zone in Area 3, and that is where you get HM3, which will teach you Surf. And you actually need that to progress with the game. And we also are looking for the Safari Warden's teeth, which fortunately enough are right here, just to the south of this sign. So they didn't really try very hard to find those teeth. But we got the teeth. We're going to grab these items because we'll not be coming back into Area 3. And then we picked up a TM as well. Double Team, it's an okay ability, increases your evasion. And then the only hidden item in here is in this statue, and that is a revive. But this is the secret house where you get the HM number 3. And since we are already done with Koga, we can teach that to one of our Pokemon and actually use Surf right away outside of battle. If you hadn't beat Koga, you wouldn't be able to use Surf in the Safari Zone. You can also catch Pokemon using the Super Rod. I'm not sure if they show up if you just surf around on water. They might, but I know for sure you can catch them using the Super Rod. So we're going to teach our Blastoise the surf ability so that we can start moving around in here. We'll use the rest of our steps to grab a few items, and then I will head back through the Safari Zone to grab all the items we didn't get so far. Now there are a few Pokemon I do want to catch in here. Besides Kangaskhan, the one of note that is most interesting to me is Dratini. And to catch a Dratini, you do have to use the Super Rod. And again, it's pretty rare to encounter one, and it is a little bit harder to catch it as well. You're going to probably have to hit it with a rock or two, and then hope that it doesn't run, and then use a Safari Ball on it. So these are some tips you'll get from the various people in the rest houses. And this guy says, using bait will make Pokemon easier to catch. Not true. It actually makes them harder to catch. But it does make them stick around a little bit longer, potentially. Now, you could use a bait and then start chucking rocks at them. But again, I just find throwing a rock and hoping they stick around is really your best bet. Let's grab these few items that we find here in Area 3. Finish up our steps, and then we will head out and come back in and grab the rest of the items. So here we have the Area 3 with the center area or main area being just off to the right. And there is an item in the middle of the main area on an island. Yeah, we already found the secret house. We just have a few more items to pick up in this area. And then once we grab those, we will probably run out of our steps. There's actually a huge dead end over to the right up here in Area 2. That was a Rhyhorn, which I already have, so we don't need to catch that. And this is what happens when you run out of steps. You get a ding-dong. Your time is up. I didn't get really anything. I wasn't looking for anything. But now we're going to start looking for stuff. So I'm going to grab all the rest of those items. I'll check out all the different rest houses, and then we will call it an episode. And then in my next episode, well, we have a couple different options we can do. We can head south and go down to Seafoam Islands. Or we can head back to Saffron City and check out Silphco and also Sabrina's Gym. So here's the island with the item. I'm going to do some fishing here and see if I can catch a Dratini. And I will meet you back here in a little bit. Alright, no luck catching a Dratini, and I basically got bored. You can fish infinitely, because it doesn't use up your steps as long as you don't move. So you can catch a few different Pokemon by doing that, the Dratini being the most interesting. But you can also catch Krabby, and I believe Psyduck as well. So I will spend a little bit of time, again off camera, trying to catch a few of those Pokemon, just to fill out my Pokedex. But I will most likely head to Silphco next. We'll probably do the fighting gym first, which is not a real gym, it's not one of the official gyms. And then we'll head into Silphco and do the Silphco headquarters. Because really, again, the game kind of wants you to do that before you head to Fuchsia. And so we might as well do that. We'll finish that off, and then we'll beat Sabrina. And then we'll do the waterways down to the final gym that we're going to take on in this particular area, the southern area of the world, which is getting to Blaine. But that's getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. We still have quite a bit to do. The Silphco headquarters is going to take a long time because it is actually the longest dungeon in the game. 12 floors or so of Team Rocket trainers. So a lot of Pokemon battles. So that's what we'll do starting my next episode. As always, viewers, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. And I'll see y'all next time as we continue onward with the game. And we decide to finally, after all this time, help out Silphco. And as our reward, this guy's talking about Eevee. I wonder why our Eevees evolved into different things. Well, maybe it's because you use different elemental stones on them. Did you notice it evolved when you used a fire stone and threw it at them? Or made it eat it? Whatever you have to do to make it evolve. Provided you're not playing Let's Go Eevee, in which case it will refuse to evolve. But we're going to go get a Master Ball by saving Silphco after doing the fighting gym and finishing up in Saffron City. So long. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please press like and leave a comment below. Please also subscribe to my channel and press the notification bell. See you next time.